before I do let you go, because I know time is precious for you, sir. You're a very, very busy man. But I did want to touch on something that you brought up on your YouTube channel.
Please.
You mentioned, yes, you mentioned ungifted fighters, and for those who may not be aware or may not have watched that particular video, I just wanted to let you elaborate on that, and then we could kind of go from there.
Yeah, well, what I did is that I was talking about, BJ Penn, the trouble he's had recently, and one of the things I said is how gifted BJ Penn was. His talent level was just off the chart. Black belt world champion in 3 years, amazing 155-pound champion in the UFC. And so I said, hey, I'm going to make another list of the fighters that were kind of ungifted, that were just blue-collar, hardworking guys who didn't have any one particular trait that made them great. We didn't necessarily expect them to be champion. And my list was like Frankie Edgar, Michael Bisping, Rich Franklin, Randy Couture, Stipe Miocic. That was my kind of the grinders team is the way I saw it. And those were the guys who, once again, didn't have any real physical gifts, but just overperformed when it came to their abilities in the octagon, man.
Yes. And I do agree. All of those people are well deserving to get on that list. I did have some folks in mind because if you're not aware, Brother Smith, we try to highlight folks, and we try to delve into diversity of mixed martial arts, and we try to delve into just, it's a lot of people that just see it as monochromatic, and so we try to shine some light on fighters who they may not be recognized a lot. So I do have a few fighters. I do have my own team, and I'm going to throw some names at you, and I just want you to tell me. Just tell me, let me know if they would make your list. So I got a honorable mention. So honorable mention, and some of these honorable mention, they may not have been like championship style fighters, but I think they still kind of exhibit everything that you've thrown out there. So Leonard Garcia, throwback, WEC. Forrest Griffin, former UFC light heavyweight champion. You think so?
Yeah, Forrest Griffin for sure. Leonard Garcia was never what I consider great. He's a good fighter, really, really solid. I put him kind of like the guys that I left off were like the Jim Millers, right? Joe Lazon, hardworking guys who were good but not great. I think Forrest Griffin was great.
Okay. And then one more that I had in my honorable mention, and this might fall under your good but not great, is Neil Magny.
Neil Magny, good, not great. Every time Neil Magny had that kind of, he had some big upsets. Hector Lombard, who was getting the crap beaten out of him, came back in that fight. I called his fight in Argentina. He got the piss beaten out of him. The problem is he had this like kind of comeback ability. Later on in his career, he just started taking beatings he couldn't come back from. Yeah. Also, freaky tall, freaky rangy, did have these weird physical gifts. I tried to pick fighters that in their division didn't have any particular gifts. Neil Magny's a tall, lanky dude, has great range. If you want to call that a physical gift, he definitely had it. Another guy that I thought I missed on that list was Bilal Muhammad. Called a lot of his fights a grinder, a worker, never really thought he'd be UFC champion. He surprised everyone. Leon Edwards, the man he took the title from, was a guy who technically very good, but didn't have any particular, didn't have great stopping power, wasn't particularly fast, and still became champion. So 3 names I probably left off was Forrest Griffin, Bilal Muhammad, and Leon Edwards.
All right, gotcha. All right, so I'll throw a few more names at you, and you let me know if they make the team or not. All right, so first, let's go back. Aljamain Sterling.
Aljo. Yeah, man. He is great, but I always saw him as a really talented dude. Like, if you've ever met him, which I have, man, freaky build, really strong, explosive. He was a generally pretty athletic guy. So I would put him, he was gifted. I thought he was a really gifted athlete.
Gifted. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So the grind is just secondary. He still has.
He was really good, explosive, really gifted, I thought.
All right. What about Daniel Cormier?
Daniel Cormier, and someone on the comment section mentioned DC, and the guy underneath him put what I thought. He goes, man, you can't be a 2-time Olympian and not be a pretty damn good athlete. Yeah. He was pretty athletic. Now, what I think people discount is, he kind of had the dad bod. but he
Yeah.
was really explosive and really strong. And I know his team. I'm from California, so I've trained some people who have trained with him. And we're like, dude, no, he's a really good athlete. Don't let the build fool you. He's a great athlete. So I think people look at him and don't think he's athletically gifted. You don't make 2 Olympic teams unless you're a gifted athlete. I think he still has athletic gifts.
Gotcha. All right, I got a few more for you.
Love it.
Let's go. There we go. Rashad Evans.
Rashad Evans. You know what's funny? I worked with Rashad Evans when I was with the UFC, and when we were talking one time about his knee injury and that kind of cost him his prime and all this stuff, he told me a story. And part of the reason why I wouldn't put him on my not gifted list, he goes, Jimmy, I would just make it up as I went. Like I knew I was going to do something and I did it. Like I just kind of went, I'm going to do this. Bing, bang, bang. And goes, and it would work. His knee injury, he goes, I started thinking about what I was doing and it made it less athletic for me. And my style really suffered because Jimmy, in my prime, dude, I just went, I think I'll do this. Boom, boom. And I did it. And I talked to some of his training partners because, obviously, once again, we're of similar eras. And they were like, dude, he was a really good athlete. Like he could really explosive. He'd hit you with a big shot. You wouldn't necessarily see it. So, and when I talked to him, he goes, yeah, man, I was just athletically gifted. I just got away with a lot of stuff. And so that's why he didn't make my list. Is he told me himself, he goes, yeah, a lot of times, like, it wasn't training. I was just good at going, I'm thinking to do this, and it worked. And it worked almost every time. That's why he became champion. And he was another guy I thought in his prime a destructive athlete. A little small for 205, for sure, but still an explosive athlete in his prime.
See, that's the only reason, because I did watch the video when you mentioned like guys who are undersized for the division.
He was definitely undersized for 205. Yeah, for sure.
And especially for the Ultimate Fighter when he fought heavyweight.
Dude, he fought heavyweight. He took on some big dudes. Brad Hines, the guy he beat in the finals, was huge. But also, when you look at like when he knocked out Chuck Liddell, it was boom, this beautiful overhand, super fat. Like, the dude just did explosive stuff, man. He was gifted, I think, at the time.
I think, and I do take into the consideration the knockout power as well. So, definitely. All right, so I'm 0 for 3. I'm 0 for 3 so far. Let's see if I get all. This person may be on that good, not great list. Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung.
Man, he had a chin from hell, but yes, definitely a grinder, definitely a worker. Never became champion, but fought for a title. He'd be on an all grinder list for sure, because his only gift was really his chin. He could take a shot like nobody else, but wasn't fast, wasn't explosive, wasn't particularly quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just outworked guys. But once again, never the number one guy, but I'll definitely put him on the grinder list for sure, man. Because he came, if you fight for a title like that, you could be on the list for sure.
All right. I got one. Okay. And last one is my wild card now. So, and this will fall more into your expertise as well, being a former voice of Bellator. We have Joe Warren.
Oh my God, for sure. Dude, when I saw, this is a kind of an insider story. When Joe Warren won his first bout in Bellator, it was in the tournament, in back in the tournament days, and he won. And then on the other side of the bracket was a guy named Georgi Karahanian, and Georgi Karahanian had knocked out a guy named Balquach, and Georgi begged Bjorn Rebney, the guy who was running Bellator, to fight Joe Warren, because Joe Warren just looked so beatable. He's like, dude, I got this guy, And Joe Warren outworked Georgi Karahanian and put him on his butt for that whole fight. Then he took on Patricio Pitbull. We thought he had no chance against Patricio Pitbull, and he won a decision there. It was like every time he thought, Joe Warren can't beat this guy, he would somehow do it. Yeah, for sure. For sure, he's a grinder. Yes, Greco-Roman world champion, but an All-American at Michigan. He was not a national champion. He wasn't like the guy coming out of college. So he kind of like taught himself Greco late and ended up being a world champion. So definitely. And I've had the privilege of grappling with Joe, and same deal. Like, yeah, he's strong for his size, but plenty of guys are strong for their size. It's almost a prerequisite. Right. Definitely, I put Joe on the grinder list for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, I think his biggest gift was the gift of gab. I think he did an interview where he said, exactly. I think he said, if you put me and Brock Lesnar in the alley, I'm walking out the alley. I was like, ooh. this guy can talk. But all right, that's my 5. And yeah, so I think I got a couple. I got a couple
did,
for
man.
you to consider. All right.